Coach O'Connor.
I'll tell you that we're certainly very honored to be here, be back in Omaha. I know these gentlemen that are sitting at the table with me can contest that it's really difficult to get here. You know, and the other four coaches that are here and the teams that are here, it's a tremendous challenge to get to Omaha. You know, there's a lot of teams that their seasons are over, and we all understand how difficult of a journey it is throughout the season, but then when you get into postseason play, to do what it takes to get here. Not only do you have to have a good baseball team, you also have to have a little bit of good fortune. We're certainly very honored to be back here. We'd like to, our university would like to thank everybody in the city of Omaha for their hospitality. This is, as I say, the greatest college sporting event out there, you know, because it takes place over a 2-week period, and the people in the city of Omaha wrap their arms around this event, and we couldn't be happier to be here, and we look forward to getting out there and playing some good baseball.
Coach Bianco.
Like the other coaches said, excited and honored to be here. Congratulations to all the coaches, the 3 here, and of course the 4 in the other bracket. As Brian just said, we were joking outside before we walked in here, and I've said, our beat writers have heard me say this, several times, that the road to Omaha isn't a straight one. It's very windy and bumpy, and nobody knows that more than we do. And this, our 5th Super Regional, and finally, punched our ticket here. We're excited to be here. I joked about them that my days at LSU as an assistant in the 90s, how easy Skip Bertman made it look, to get here, and all those great LSU teams. And when I got to Ole Miss, thought I had the blueprint. Once you got to Omaha, this is what you do. But unfortunately, it took 14 years, and heck, they don't even play in the same stadium anymore. So, that the blueprint isn't as good as it once was. But again, we're honored and excited to be here, and can't wait for it to get started.
Howard Borden, Omaha, Nebraska, KCRO Radio. First of all, congratulations to all the coaches. Best of luck here in Omaha. This is for all the coaches. Could you talk a little bit about the personnel of your team defensively? This ballpark sometimes plays big, and there's been a lot of talk about teams going through their conference tournaments, regionals, and supers, and getting here by playing good defense, and I think that could be a big story. Your defense. What's your defense all about for all 4 coaches?
Coach O'Connor, can you lead us off?
Sure. I think our defense is one of the real strong points of our ball club. We had won 50 ball games last year, and as I'm sure these guys do too, after the season's over, you sit back and you assess your club moving into next year and where can we get better at. And our defense was an area that I thought that we needed to improve from last year, and we did. We've I think have a really skilled infield defense, and we have 3 outfielders that can run and go get it and cover some territory. So it's an area that's really important to us, and I think we've done a pretty good job with it all year.
As you said in your question, I don't think you get to this point unless you can catch it in college baseball now. Much has been said about the bats and the lack of offense, and so I don't think you get to this point unless you pitch and play defense. And it's not the best defensive club we've ever had, but we're solid, and we're solid in the infield. Will Allen's had a tremendous year behind the plate for us, but it might be the best defensive outfield, which is more, I think, will play more, make the difference in this park. The fastest outfield we've ever had, and guys that have just made plays. I laughed early in the season. Braxton Lee in left field has made more diving catches in 1 year than we may have had in our program and since I've been here. I mean, just him and Boz out in center field, and either Woodman or Jamison in right field. Not a guy runs slower than a 6'6" in the outfield, and they just cover a lot of ground, which hopefully that'll make a little bit of difference in Ameritrade.
John Davis, Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal. Coach O'Connor, this question is for you about your pitching staff. You talked about defense. This is a great regional, or this side of the regional from a pitching standpoint, but just talk about your success with your staff this year.
Well, I'll tell you, coming into the season, there was certainly some uncertainty about our staff. I felt like we had a lot of talent. There was a lot of skill on the staff, but there wasn't a lot of experience because what we had lost from the year before. But I'll tell you, it took shape really, really quickly. Nathan Kirby has been our number one all year long, and he's been tremendous. And our Brandon Waddell has been in our rotation all year, and he's done a nice job too. And Josh Spores and Artie Lewicki have both spent time in our rotation. So, I think our pitching staff is talented. I think the depth is really good. I think we're pretty good at the end of the game with Nick Howard and some other guys we can bring in before him. So. It's been very, very consistent for us from start to finish.
Parrish all for Tupelo, Mississippi, for Coach O'Connor and for Coach Bianco. You guys have a little bit of somewhat recent postseason history. Does that play at all into the preparation for your game, or has too much time passed?
I personally don't think it plays into anything. Those were different teams, different players. So nothing that we've done in the past with regards to Ole Miss, I think, factors in at all into Sunday night. We know the kind of program Ole Miss has. We know how talented their players are. Our team's different than those past teams, and I'm sure for Coach it's the same.
Yeah, I don't think we have anybody on the roster, do we? It'd have to be somebody that redshirted or something. It was 9 and 10, so it was so long ago that I don't think it matters. To the fans and to you guys, maybe. Is there anybody? I don't know. Allen and all those guys weren't on that team, so it'd have to be a redshirt guy. So answer is no.
Yeah, Andrew Ranspacker, Charlottesville Daily Progress. Coach Bianco, going back to that series, though, in 2009, could you get a sense, that was Virginia's first super regional and obviously going to the first College World Series, could you get a sense that was a program on the rise? Now they're here, this is their third trip now since that time.
Again, a long time ago, but they were terrific. I remember back where we were matched up with. We probably got home because Strasburg didn't win, and so I don't know which would have been better, but Virginia came in and played great. We won the first game in extra innings. We hit one of those dramatic walk-off home runs, and but then the next two games were very close, and they played very well, and deserved to win. It was one of those things where you could see what a great job, and I don't know their history as much, but you'd heard all the wins and all the success that Brian had up there, and they were kind of like us. One of this year one of those teams is going to break through and get to Omaha, and unfortunately for us it was them. But they were terrific and really terrific since then. And of course, we played them in 2010 and kind of watched them through the years. And I think probably back to your question, once you play them, you recognize them more. I think when you see them in a regional or a super regional, watch them go to Omaha. I think for the fans and even as the coaches and players, you remember back to that series. Not that it's significant now, but you're probably more aware of their success, and certainly they've been tremendous, and Brian's done a great job there.
Mike Bonner from the Clarion Ledger. Brian, last year in the Super Regionals against Mississippi State, sometimes it seemed like the players were making some uncharacteristic errors in the field. How did that experience for a young team maybe help them grow as a team this year in the Super Regionals, maybe going forward?
Well, I think it helped a lot. I mean, part of that was Mississippi State. I mean, they came to Charlottesville for the Super Regional last year, and they just played lights out and put a lot of pressure on us, and we, quite frankly, didn't handle it real well. So, I think anytime you can have the experience that they did have last year, you get a chance to be better the next time out. And so almost all those players were on that club last year, and so we got to that point again this year in the Super Regional, and they figured it out and played really good, consistent baseball.
Far back on the right.
Pete LaFleur, College Baseball 360 for Coach O'Connor. short guy here in the back. Hey, Coach, as you know, I was at Virginia back in the mid-'90s and had kind of a magical season and made the NCAAs, but I remember the field, the old football field, and you could see the AstroTurf, and then watching your team this week in the great stadium. If you could, since this is your third trip to Omaha, highlight 3 key elements that have helped you build the program at Virginia for those of us, maybe three key things.
Wow, Pete. I think I'll say what Tim said, pitching, pitching, pitching. We done? No. I would say certainly first it starts with putting a good coaching staff together. I think for any of us up here, it's so important of who you surround yourself with. And I've been very, very fortunate to have 2 outstanding assistant coaches that have been with us for 11 years. So I think it starts with that, Pete, on putting a good staff together that's hardworking and knows what they're doing. Then I'd say recruiting the right young men to compete for you and represent your program, and that's an area that we feel like we've had quite a bit of success in. And then the third thing I'd say is player development. You have those coaches, you recruit the right young men, and then you have to develop them. And I'm really proud of what we've done there from a player development standpoint, and the players coming there and getting better and moving on to professional baseball, but during their time at Virginia, helping us win a lot of ball games.